the Ram TRX, and basically it's a 700 horsepower desert racing truck with cup holders and a warranty. This is an extremely specialized piece of equipment. It's very expensive, very fast, extremely powerful, and it takes everything Mopar knows about extreme performance cars and puts it into a truck. And not just any truck. In this video, I'm going to go through a few thoughts and observations from a few thousand kilometers of testing in Northern Ontario, and a few of the things that you can start getting excited about if you're one of the psychopaths who got their order into a dealer and maybe you're waiting for your TRX to arrive.
I put a lot of miles on the vehicles that I show you, no less than 800 kilometers spent on highways between central and northern Ontario, and maybe another 800 kilometers or so exploring areas nearby. And that's all to be sure I'm exposing my test vehicles to as wide a range of real-world conditions as possible, and that's so that I can put the vehicle in context to give you better information. And though this Ram TRX is a highly engineered super truck designed for feats of speed and acceleration and off-road mayhem, it's also equally a rolling technological showpiece of what Mopar can do when they realize their shoppers might just love something that puts everything they know about extreme performance cars and extreme performance racing trucks into a single package that you can drive to Costco. Which of course you will, because you're a real person using your new toy as often as you can to maximize your enjoyment of it. When you're reviewing a Ram TRX, the noise, the absolute symphony this thing makes is a big part of the driving experience. Here's a little taste.
702 horsepower pickup truck. There's no need for that. Oh.
And we'll get to more of that throughout the video, but for now, after an extensive cold weather test drive in some of the worst Northern Ontario road conditions this past winter, I've got some things to show you about the TRX that I think you might find interesting and useful to know, especially if you'll enjoy driving yours as often as possible, and maybe even on long highway trips in bad weather like I did. The highway ride was one of my first surprises. Now, there are a few pavement surfaces that tend to coax an odd rhythmic wobble or vibration from the specialized suspension, but generally, it's really smooth sailing and fairly quiet if you're light on the throttle too. And with a roomy and nicely dressed cabin, you've got a commanding driving position, loads of stretch-out space, loads of at-hand storage to keep all of your smaller items handy and organized and secure, and a ride that's comfortable enough for a day-long road trip with no issue. It's a really nice highway ride, even relaxing at times, despite enough power to make passing a transport truck a little bit like firing a rocket launcher. Pull the trigger, and it's noise, fire, and heavy metal hurtling through the air.
Listen to that blower.
Entry and exit are not friendly for everyone. I don't trust these little ledges here. They're rock rails, not steps. You can step on them if you're careful, but smaller or mobility-challenged passengers will likely need a helping hand to board and exit safely, especially in winter. The factory-equipped Wrangler Territory tires are mud and snow rated, and they're better than I was expecting in the snow. If you drive a big off-road truck like this, your fellow drivers, myself included, would like to hear from you in the comment section below about what you choose for your favorite winter off-road tire, or if you just run the factory rubber like this. Personally, I prefer to use a dedicated winter tire whenever I can, but to me, these Wrangler Territories seem pretty well suited for even the deep snow we're driving through today. So, are you planning to drive your TRX in the winter? And if so, let us know what you're thinking for tires. This truck is also incredibly tough. The lead engineer says this Dana 60 axle in the rear can withstand a direct missile strike. There's even a special damper installed to help stabilize the rear axle. The chassis and frame are made of uprated components and materials. The suspension is designed for landing jumps and has its own brain, nervous system, and control system that lets it expertly manage body motion controls and ride comfort in real time. Add in those heavily reinforced tires and all of that plating and clearance beneath, and you've got a machine that not only packs 702 horsepower with a complete arsenal of computer driveline calibrations at your fingertips, but also a machine that just doesn't care what it's driving over. Simply nothing else this fast can be enjoyed to this degree on badly beaten rural backroads without the very real possibility of damaging tires, wheels, oil pans, and the like. So in the TRX, you're getting an absolutely high-performance driving experience that just confidently and comfortably floats over virtually anything. If you want the highest performing experience you can get over virtually any surface, there's just nothing comparable. And a big plus for me on this test drive was the inclusion of not one but two full-size spares, meaning an extra set of lives if you happen to have a flat or puncture on the go, even miles from the pavement. And so the TRX flies down the sort of roads that would turn the average car's wheels into an octagon, sucking up rim-bending potholes and dips and frost heaves without spilling a drop of my Timmies. If you're on a trail or a camp road, the TRX is as good as it gets for covering rough ground very quickly. Obviously, feel out the machine and don't be stupid, but I think most drivers will find this incredible suspension system to be a constant source of smiles. And those smiles get bigger and faster the harder you're working it. It is some remarkable technology. On my test drive, the big power stereo system proved a favorite companion for passing hours on the highway, perched up high and riding comfortably with all the glass around you to easily take in the scenery. The TRX can accelerate fast enough to make your eyeballs feel funny, but it is down for some quality quiet time on the highway if you like. Of course, even the calmest of highway drives won't spare you a hefty fuel bill. You'll put away 20 liters per 100 clicks if you're being nice, and you won't be. Partly that's thanks to the supercharger, literally an air compressor bolted to the engine that helps it burn more fuel and make more power. The turbine-like whine of that compressor is another constant source of smiles, and the TRX's way of constantly encouraging you to press that throttle a little bit harder. It's a difficult temptation to resist, especially when off-the-line starts see all four Wrangler Territory tires lit up for the better part of first gear. Do be careful, this machine can get you into trouble very quickly, and your local radar cop will hear you coming. Launch control turns in fast off-the-line starts, maybe if you get beside a Raptor at a light. And if you happen to have a neighbor with a Raptor, using sport mode in your TRX makes it easier to say hello with the supercharger every time you drive by. There is no being discreet in this truck, by the way, and there's no escaping the reality of easily using $100 worth of super unleaded at a time when you're doing a few hours of highway touring. So this is the silliest vehicle I've ever driven, but also one of the most remarkable. On one hand, it's an absolute expert at letting drivers enjoy tremendous performance in virtually any condition, and it's built to move quickly at high speed over rough terrain while giving drivers little to worry about other than enjoying the ride. On the other hand, fuel mileage and noise and all-out firepower means this is something intended for a very specific shopper. If you've ever wanted to own your own horrifyingly fast racing truck, then here it is, though the acceleration isn't the most horrifying part of the TRX. This is. Not to unleash any radical concepts here, but nothing with 700 horsepower is doing your wallet any favors at the pumps. There's no fuel economy to be had with this truck. She'll suck back 20 liters per 100 clicks of high test if you're driving nicely and at full throttle, with the supercharger blasting compressed air into the cylinders and the fuel injectors flowing like Niagara Falls. The consumption is incredible. So I just have one more question for you. Would you like to hear some more noises? That's what I thought. I'm Justin Pritchard for Driving.ca. Until next time, take care and drive safe.